I was 18 when I caught my sister lifting Eric Clarence's shirt and running her hands over his abs. He, with his shirt open, just smiled and let her do what she wanted. 4 years later, Eric gave in to family pressure and married me. But everyone knew that even after signing the papers, his heart still belonged to her. The passion between them was obvious, impossible to hide, and I was always just a convenient substitute. After a while, I was the one who asked for a divorce. Eric remained silent for several minutes, without questioning or protesting, just picking up the pen and signing. "If you ever need help, you can come to me." Those were the only words I said before leaving. When I returned to the city at the age of 28, it was for their wedding. He saw me arriving with someone else and gave the man beside me a cold stare. "So he's the one you left me for?" he muttered, not caring who was around. As the ceremony approached, the whispers began. They said I had come back more beautiful, more elegant. But I was also remembered as the woman who abandoned her own wedding. Now that Eric is in charge of the Clarence family business, I wonder if she regrets it, I heard a woman whisper in the background. "Regret what?" Another replied, "She just gave back what was never hers, her sister's fiancé." I was about to enter the private room when I heard these words. Over the past 3 years, many rumors had circulated about me. They said I was proud, that I played hard to get with Eric, that I regretted it too late. Even my parents believed it. On the day of the divorce, my mother was clear. "Now that you're no longer married, keep your distance. Jessica hurt her leg and needs Eric. Don't get in the way." I just lowered my head, silent. "This marriage was your sister's," she insisted. "If she hadn't gone away to college, she would have married him as planned." In fact, Jessica and Eric were the perfect couple in our social circle on the eve of the wedding. However, she disappeared. The families had already announced the engagement, and the invitations had been sent out. To avoid scandal, they decided that I would take her place at the altar. I don't know how they convinced Eric, but he accepted. For 3 years of marriage, we were a functional couple. To the world, everything seemed stable. But the truth is that he never strayed from Jessica. He never let me into his office. One day he forgot to lock the door. I opened it slowly and saw something that froze my blood. The walls were covered with photos of the wedding that never happened. Eric and Jessica, smiling at each other, radiant. I had never seen that sparkle in his eyes before. In those pictures, he looked truly alive. That's when I realized there was no place for me in that world. The idea of divorce formed silently, like an inevitable whisper. The night I made my decision, I heard Eric talking on the phone. I was in the next room and could hear him clearly. "Don't be afraid. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Wait for me. Stay quiet." When he turned around, he saw me standing in the kitchen. I said calmly, "Dinner is ready." He hesitated for a second and replied, "Eat without me. I have to go." As he was about to leave, I called his name. He turned around, his face impatient. "Let's get a divorce." And that was it. When my parents found out, the agreement was already signed. Eric was fair and gave me half of our assets, but that wasn't enough to calm my family's fury. They called me in and interrogated me as if I had committed a crime. "Why did you take half of Eric's assets?" my father asked. "Was it for money? Is that what you are?" Jessica was there, crying with a crutch propped up against her leg. "Are you blaming me? Are you saying I stole Eric from you? I barely made it back." Before I could say anything, our parents interrupted her. "He was the one who should have married you, Jessica. If you hadn't run away, you'd have a child by now." Jessica loved Eric, but she loved dancing even more. When she accepted his marriage proposal, the chance to join an international company came up. She didn't think twice. She left Eric and went away. For the next 3 years, she didn't say a word to him until the night Eric's phone rang and he answered it, trembling, leaning on my shoulder. It was her. I heard her tearful, pleading voice on the other end of the line. Eric was silent for 30 seconds. Then he grabbed his coat and ran out. He didn't come back that night. The next day, I found out that Jessica had had an accident. While dancing, she broke her leg. Eric went to pick her up himself and brought her back. And since then, he has been solely responsible for her. She lives at my parents' house and receives all the attention she needs, including his. After I got in the car, I gave him the address and noticed the slight tension in his features. "Why don't you live in Goldby anymore?" he murmured, frowning. I just replied, "I don't like it." He didn't know that I had already sold the house I received after the divorce. He was silent for a moment, his eyes half closed, but he didn't insist. When we arrived, I got out of the car quickly, but he did the same, grabbing my suitcase before I could stop him. "I can do it myself," I said, trying to pull it away, but he didn't even move. He looked around, analyzing the building with disdain. "Are you having financial difficulties?" This place was clearly inferior to Goldby, but I stood my ground. "No." He ignored my answer and dragged the suitcase to the entrance. "Which building? Which floor?" When Eric wanted something, there was no obstacle that could stop him. I got tired of insisting and just went ahead in silence. We went up together. At the door to my apartment, I held out my hand. "Thanks. Today isn't a good time, so I won't invite you in." But he didn't move. "Tell me, have you been okay these past few years?" His eyes had a sincere gleam that left me momentarily speechless. I didn't remember ever hearing that tone in his voice before. Before I could answer, the door suddenly opened. A tall man with a striking presence and enviable physique appeared, as if he were part of my home. Without hesitation, he pulled me into a tight embrace. "It took you long enough to come back," he whispered, his lips dangerously close to mine. When he touched my lips, an angry voice rang out behind us. "What are you doing?" Eric stood rigid, watching everything, but Gavin didn't back down. He kissed me deeply, and then shot Eric a stern look, still holding me in his arms. He spoke to me, but he was openly provoking him. "I was gone for a short time, and you already found someone else." My heart raced. I tried to push him away, but he didn't budge. I just looked at Eric. "If you have something to say, we'll talk later." He clenched his fist and pressed his lips together in anger. But before any explosion could happen, Gavin took me inside and closed the door. The tension still hung in the air as he moved closer. "If I'm not mistaken, your flight was at 11. It's already 2 p.m. In 3 hours, you had time to find your ex-husband." I touched his waist gently. Gavin held my hand and his deep voice cut through the silence. "Don't even try to fool me." I pulled down the hem of his shirt and lowered my eyes. He lifted my chin with one of his large hands, and when he met my gaze, smiled ironically. "I've barely started dealing with you, and you're already crying." Then he softened. "It's me. I missed you so much." After the divorce, I moved south and opened a bed and breakfast in a simple village. The seasons were mild and the people were welcoming. Over time, my mood stabilized. The place gained fame, and business improved. Gavin was the most reclusive guest. He rarely left his room, only appearing on the terrace when the courtyard was empty. I was worried about him. I began to pay attention to his movements until one day, while sunbathing, he approached me with a look on his face that said he knew too much. "Do you think I look like someone who's about to jump off a bridge?" I was surprised. He sat down in the chair next to me, relaxed. "I heard you on the phone last night." I blushed. I had told a friend that he was too handsome to be sad. "You don't seem to be from around here," he commented. Why open a guest house here? I improvised. I have too much money and too much time. He laughed softly, and his laugh sounded too good to ignore. I looked at him. The light hit his face, highlighting his well-defined jawline, his almost sculpted profile. Even Eric, with all his grandeur, couldn't compare. Gavin noticed my gaze and returned it. I don't know who looked away first, but from that day on, everything changed. We really got close while hiking. The rain caught us by surprise and we came back soaked. I had a fever that night. When I got up to get some medicine, I broke a glass. Gavin broke down the door. For a second, I saw fear in his eyes. He took care of me for 5 days. Playing. Guitar by my side. That's how I found out he was a singer. So you can leave at any time? I asked, holding a mug. Instead of answering, he asked, "Do you want me to go?" I was silent. He took the mug from my hand and kissed me. The heat of that kiss set my body on fire. From that day on, he became the owner of the patio. Changing light bulbs, fixing furniture. He did everything. The guests joked, "That handsome guy should marry the owner." Gavin just laughed. But when we were alone, he always found a way to tease me. And even if I begged, he had no mercy. I thought the days with him would last forever. But one day, he disappeared. No one knew where he had gone. Handsome as he was, he must be with some rich woman, they said. Today was the first time I had seen him since he disappeared. The more I thought about it, the sadder I became. The tears fell without stopping. Gavin watched me, silent, waiting for me to say something. I didn't. I cried, until he finally gave in and held my face. "I fell in love with you. How can you expect me to leave you like this?" I couldn't answer. I just hugged him tightly, refusing to let go, and he stayed. I slept deeply. When I woke up, he was gone again. My cell phone, silent, had over 90 missed calls. Half of them were from Eric, the alumni group, dormant for years, was in an uproar. Eric had sent a message announcing a reunion. What's more, they said Gavin was coming back. He wants to propose to the woman he's loved for 10 years. I read that and felt a sudden emptiness. My phone was taken from my hands. Gavin's face appeared before me. He ruffled my hair. "Did you sleep well?" I shook my head, sitting on his lap. "I thought you weren't coming." Before coming back, I sent him the address by email. He didn't reply, and yet there he was, standing before me. It would be a lie to say I wasn't surprised, but behind the shock, there was something deeper, something that unsettled me inside. He hugged me slowly, as if trying to calm a storm. "Are you mad at me?" he murmured. I clung to his waist and hid my face in his chest without answering. That day, I ran out and lost my phone. I couldn't get in touch with you in time, but I tried later. Don't be angry anymore. When he left, I found myself sinking into a silent void. People said he had gotten involved with a rich woman, and I believed them. I tried calling him. I sent him messages, but he never replied. He disappeared completely. If he hadn't given any sign of life when he did, I would have gone to the police. I turned my face away, still in his arms, and asked, "Why didn't you answer my email?" He smiled with his eyes. "As soon as I saw it, I bought the ticket. I wanted to surprise you, but I think I ended up scaring you." I smiled, but kept my gaze steady. "I haven't forgiven you yet." He lowered his head, and that intense aura, which always seemed to be lurking, enveloped me again. "Then I'll have to use another method." I tried to run, but he grabbed my ankle and pulled me back with ease. Gavin might have looked elegant, but behind his appearance, there was a side that no one knew. I snuggled up against him. "I just got off the plane." "You don't have to do anything. Just stay here," he whispered. The early morning enveloped us, and exhausted, I fell into his arms. He seemed satisfied, and that's when he brought up the subject of the alumni reunion. An old friend had invited him. "Will you come with me?" I asked, ironically. "Eric will be there too." His fingers slid down my waist, the smile on his lips dangerous. "You can try." What a provocative person. In the end, we agreed to go together. But in the morning, Gavin told me he had something urgent to do and asked me to go first. When I arrived at the door of the reserved room, I heard voices. They were talking about me. The conversations became increasingly unpleasant. Amidst the noise, I clearly recognized Jessica's voice. Everyone knows that my sister married Eric in my place. It's been 3 difficult years for her. I hope you don't make things difficult for her when she arrives. Jessica always knew how to use words. If she really cared about me, she would have stopped the criticism. But she didn't. She was only there to keep up appearances. That's when I noticed Eric standing next to me. He was wearing an impeccable suit, imposing as always. I tried to look away, but he beat me to it. "Why didn't you answer my calls?" "I was busy. Too busy to answer for hours." I looked up. "I was with my boyfriend. We have a lot to do together." His face tensed. "Do you know who Gavin is? How could you get involved with someone like him?" I remained calm. "I didn't know who you were either, and I still married you. That's different." "How is it different?" He didn't have time to answer. "Yes, Gavin and I are together. It's consensual." My irony hit him like a slap. His face hardened. I tried to leave, but he grabbed my wrist. "When did you start seeing Gavin? Is that why you wanted a divorce so quickly? Let go. You can have anyone except him. This is crazy." I kicked his foot. He let go of my arm with a grunt. I stepped away. "You should focus on your marriage, brother-in-law." The words came out venomously. Eric turned pale. His lips trembled, but he said nothing. For a moment, I thought about revenge, but it passed quickly. "Tell Jessica I've paid my debt. Now we're even. When we were kids, I almost drowned in a lake. Jessica saved me. I got out unharmed, but she was unconscious for a whole day. Those were the worst days of my life. My parents wouldn't let me near her anymore. They transferred me to another school. I couldn't go to the same university. Years later, I was asked to marry Eric in her place. I hesitated. They said I owed her my life. If we asked you for your life, would you refuse? That's what I heard. Eric agreed to marry you and you're still complaining? They said so many things, but no one asked me if I wanted it. Christina's voice pulled me back. Hermosa, come on. I smiled, ready to go in. Where's Gavin? Something came up. He'll be here later. We went in. The room fell silent. Judgmental glances came from all corners, some with contempt, others with false compassion. I greeted a few familiar faces and was about to sit down with Christina. When Jessica's voice called me, she took my hand. Let's sit over there. I pulled my hand away. I'm going with Christina. Jessica froze. Are you still mad at me? A bad feeling grew inside me. Jessica started to cry. It was my fault for asking you to marry Eric, but I tried to make it up to you. What else can I do? As if that would erase everything. You and Eric were only married on paper. He never hurt you, right? An uncomfortable silence fell. A marriage only on paper? Eric said he loved Jessica, but at night he would come looking for me, claiming he wanted a child. I saw his face look away. I laughed. Jessica was speechless. What are you laughing at? You two are perfect. I stood up. If you despise me so much, I don't need to stay. Christina grabbed my arm. Don't go. Gavin asked you to wait for him here. everyone heard. What do you mean? Gavin asked her to wait? Gavin is her boyfriend. They laughed. This has to be a joke. Who is Gavin? And who is this woman? What do you mean they're a couple? It doesn't make sense. They weren't even in the same class. Stop making things up. A divorced woman and a famous singer? That's absurd. Christina rolled her eyes. You only believe what you want to believe. Jessica stopped crying. She came over to me. Hermosa, stop. Gavin isn't someone you can dream about. Go apologize before you hurt someone. Eric intervened with a heavy voice. Gavin loves someone else. He's been in love with her for 10 years. He came back for her. And Jessica reinforced this. Yes, Hermosa, you don't know anything. David has always liked you. Don't be silly. I know, I interrupted. Not only do I know, but I also know who this woman is. But the truth is that, in the beginning, I didn't know anything. Gavin hid everything very well when we met in that quiet village. At first, I didn't recognize him, and he treated me like a stranger. Then he disappeared without even saying goodbye. Every day, I sat in the room where he used to stay, staring into the void, as if something there could explain his absence. He left so many things behind, and that fueled my hope that he would return. I ended up keeping his belongings with me, trying to convince my heart that it wasn't the end. In the middle of that silent mess, I found a diary. In it were recorded all the emotions of a love hidden for years, feelings of youth that had never been spoken aloud. It was then that I understood that even in my worst moments, someone was watching me in silence, noticing me. Jessica tried to touch my hand. Since you know that, then stay away from Gavin. She said it with that forced softness. The family has already arranged a marriage for you. The boy is an only child, handsome, good character. Christina couldn't take it anymore. If he's so great, why don't you marry him? Jessica froze. I'm already engaged to Eric. I've never stopped thinking about him. I nodded, pretending to understand. So you've spent all these years dreaming about your brother-in-law. Now it makes sense. The looks around us changed. Everyone noticed the inconsistency. Jessica tried to explain. It's not like that, Eric and I. She was about to start crying, but Eric interrupted her firmly. That's enough. His eyes stared at me, intense. I feel sorry for you. Don't make this any more complicated. Christina couldn't hold back. Eric, are you deaf? Since we got here, Jessica's been the one causing trouble. She tried to look fragile in his arms. I'm sorry. It was all my fault. She always had a talent for playing the victim, and everyone there bought into the charade. I think Hermosa, someone began, is trying to smear Jessica's name out of jealousy. If she were so great, Eric wouldn't have divorced her. And now she says Gavin is her boyfriend? That's delusional. At that moment, the door opened. Before I even saw who it was, I heard that unmistakable voice. If you have mental problems, see a doctor. It was Gavin. He crossed the room, came up to me, and examined my arms and legs seriously. When he saw that I was fine, he let out a sigh and turned to the group. Who was bothering you? The person hesitated. It was all a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? Gavin repeated. I was just a little late and you were already humiliating my girlfriend? No one answered. Jessica tried to justify herself. It was my fault. Then apologize, he said coldly. Jessica froze. Eric intervened. That's enough. We're all colleagues. There's no need to make things tense. Gavin looked at him as if he were seeing him for the first time. Well, if it isn't the ex-husband, come back to try and get her back. Silence spread like wildfire. Eric was tense. What nonsense are you talking about? Jessica and I are getting married. Gabin smiled contemptuously. Funny, because when she was chasing me, she said you were boring. What happened? Couldn't find anything better and came running back. The room froze. Jessica turned pale. Eric stood motionless. Stop it, he tried. Gabin ignored him. She knows what she said, and you? Did you research what she did during the 3 years she was out of the country? Eric was speechless. You'll find out. Gabin held my hand. I'm not in the mood for this. Let's go. We left. We got in the car, but he didn't start the engine. He was serious, not looking at me. Are you angry? I touched his face and turned him toward me. A little. I kissed him. Don't be. He laughed. You think you can convince me like that? I settled myself on his lap, facing him. A dark gleam appeared in his eyes, but he said nothing. He made me feel comfortable. When things got heated, he held my hand. Let's go home, I agreed. This car is too small. He put me in the passenger seat and started the car. At that moment, my phone rang. It was my mother. I answered. What's gotten into you? How dare you defend a stranger against your sister? She's been fragile since Jessica hurt her leg. Why provoke her again? And who is this Gabin? Break up with him immediately. I don't like this. I remained silent, then said, I'm not going back. What? I'm not going back. I hung up. I looked at Gabin. Do you have the courage to marry me? He took a few seconds to respond. Does marriage include breakfast? He accelerated. Don't regret this. Back at the house, Jessica was crying to Eric. I don't know, Gabin. I don't know why he's attacking me. Eric, listen to me. We've been together for so many years. You know how I feel about you. He wrapped his arms around her. I believe you. I know you're not that kind of person, Jessica insisted. I saw him outside several times. He'll say it again, don't believe him. I know. As she was about to continue, she saw me. She came running over. You're back. I already talked to Mom and Dad. They don't blame you. I raised my eyebrows. Gabin must have tricked you. Avoid him, my mother said firmly. Since it's his fault, then stay away from him. I sighed. That won't be possible. Do you still want to be involved with him? I took the certificate out of my pocket. Gabin and I are married. What? Jessica snatched the paper from my hand and screamed. What do you mean? You got married? Does he have evidence against you? That's impossible. How can he like you and not me? She talked to herself, not noticing Eric turning pale. My mother took the document, crumpled it up, and threw it away. It must be fake, and if it's not, it doesn't matter. You have Eric. That's enough. The word Eric woke Jessica up. Yes, I have Eric. She tried to hold his hand, but he pulled away. His face was dark. He turned and left. Jessica took a while to react and ran after him. Eric, listen to me. Her voice faded away. My mother stared at me. I should have thought twice before calling you back. You've only caused trouble. I replied calmly. Don't worry, I'm leaving tomorrow. She finally looked at me. You're not going to your sister's wedding? No, I didn't come back for that. Just to settle what was left unfinished, and to cut all ties with this city once and for all. She said nothing more, and I said even less. That night, the video of Gabin defending his wife at the alumni meeting began to circulate discreetly. It didn't take long for someone to recognize Jessica. That woman, I met her abroad. She's completely unstable. She dated 5 guys at the dough. Same time, a rare piece. Another voice chimed in. She was a senior at our university. I was there when she confessed her feelings to Gabin. He turned her down. Now that her dancing career is over because of her leg, she's come back to get married. It's sad. She tried to fit in with a group she never belonged to. She failed. Gabin has good taste. He rejected her back then. And one comment caught my attention. Did anyone notice the hand he was holding? Could it be his wife? Everything was spreading. When I heard that the Clarence family had called off the engagement, I was already on my way south. Gavin told me he would sort something out, and we would meet in the village. When I arrived at the small courtyard, Christina called me, excited, "Hermosa, look at Gavin's Twitter." My heart raced. I opened the app and saw that he was trending. Gavin's secret love, Gavin's 10 years. Miss Dodo, will you marry me? Miss Dodo, that was the nickname he gave me. Something that only existed in the diary I found. Trembling, I opened the video. It was a declaration. From the day we met 12 years ago to today, he had collected photos of me from every period of my life. Even from the years when I was married to another man. He had saved everything, every moment frozen in time. At the end of the video, he confessed that he had tried to record his marriage proposal, but was never satisfied. Luckily, I was able to marry him. The video showed our marriage certificate, and in the comments, thousands of congratulations. The most liked one said, "Nothing moves me anymore, but I always envy other people's love," Gavin replied. I thought it would be too cruel, but she surprised me. I liked it too. Soon after, he called me. "Are you there?" "Yes." "Did you see the trending topics?" I smiled. "No." "Liar. Do you really think I didn't notice you joined my fan club with a fake account?" I blushed. "When did you find out?" "Guess," he sighed on the other end. "I miss you already and we just left." I smiled. "Then come now." "Okay, wait for me." I thought he was just saying that. But he really showed up in the courtyard at dusk. I was speechless. He smiled. Surprise. "Are you done with everything?" "Yes." "Now tell me, when do you want me to leave?" I was speechless. I'm not leaving anymore." I thought it was just another catchphrase. 3 months passed. One day, Eric showed up. He looked devastated. Christina told me that Jessica refused to cancel the ceremony and was causing scandals at the Clarence family home. Eric started avoiding her, so she went to his company. Then she stopped. Last month, she showed up with a pregnancy test. The pressure from the family increased. Eric was an only child, and our marriage never produced children. But he wasn't stupid. He asked for a more accurate test and found out that the baby wasn't his. And so, everything between them ended. My mother tried to call me a few times, trying to convince me to help Jessica. I pretended not to understand and hung up. Christina told me that Jessica gave birth and then ran away. No one knows where she is. The child, blonde, with light eyes, was left in the care of my parents. Eric greeted me nervously. "How are you?" "Fine." He looked around. "This place is beautiful. You seem happy." I thanked him. I went to make some tea, but before I could leave, Gavin stormed out of the room. "Didn't I tell you not to go out? The doctor said you need to rest. For 3 months, call me if you need anything." I smiled. "I'm not that fragile." "Yes, you are. If you and the baby get tired because of someone irrelevant, what am I supposed to do?" Eric listened. "Are you pregnant?" He looked at my belly in surprise. Gavin stepped between us. "It's rude to stare at someone else's wife's belly." And before Eric could react, he added, "Oh, right. You don't have a wife." I tried to stop him, pulling on his sleeve. But Gavin just held my hand firmly, intertwining his fingers with mine. "I'm sorry. Ariani's place is full. If you need a place to stay, find somewhere else," Eric insisted. "You gave up everything to live here, is it worth it?" Gavin replied calmly. "The future is important, but not more than someone I love." Only then did I realize how much he had sacrificed to stay. At night, I tossed and turned in bed. "Gavin, you're a hopeless romantic." He smiled. "What can I do?" "I chose my husband. Now I have to take good care of him." Then I picked up his diary, June 10th, 2012. At the noisy and boring graduation party, a girl next to me was just eating. I asked her if she was a pig. She looked at me angrily. "You are, your whole family is." I tried to drag her away. She hid behind Eric, pathetic. August 25th, 2012. I saw her at the airport. She smiled at Eric, then gave me a cold look. She holds a grudge, that girl. October burn. I found out her name, but I call her Miss Dodo. She looks cute when she pouts. January 30th, 2014. Snow New Year's Eve, I asked her to build a snowman. She didn't refuse. Our first date? February 14th, 2015. I'm waiting for you to grow up, Miss Dodo. May 2nd. She looks worried. Something happened. I couldn't ask her. August 20th. She changed universities. I was upset. And on top of that, her sister confessed her feelings for me. February 14th, 2016. I went to her school. No boyfriend. What a relief. December 25th, 2017. I gave her a gift. She liked it. Too bad she didn't know it was from me. Jessica said she liked Eric. Bad taste. August 17th, 2018. Why won't she look at me? I want to punch Eric. July 6th, 2019. I got into a fight with Eric. I told him to stay away from me. He called me a coward. August 8th. They got married. May 6th, 2022. They got divorced. I'll never lose her again. February 14th, 2025. Thank you, fate. Now she's my wife. I'll love and protect her for the rest of my life. The end.